tipsy. I'm a little tea. Ah!
Yeah, when you're ready, you can bring the tail when you're ready, you're going to take a deeper inhale.
Hi. Woof woof. Woof woof. So this video is sponsored by Water Drop. I have my main flask bottle that I use for my desk, and then this is my travel bottle, which I love. So it has a little sleeve, a little decorative sleeve, and then a floral glass. Oh, it's just stunning. They also have toddler bottles on there. Also have 2 of their water filters. Stunning looking, fits in the door of your fridge. I gave one to Jason, I gave one to my mum. My favourite flavours at the moment are the Glow Mango and Cactus Fruit. But I do have a discount code if you want to get yourself a new water bottle, a new comfort water bottle. It really does encourage you to drink more water, because if I'm just drinking out of glasses, like, I'm just not arsed to keep refilling it, you know, that kind of way. But this keeps it cool as well, especially the flask. Like, if I put ice in that in the morning, there's still ice in it. These little micro drink vitamin hydration cubes that you stick into your water, they have vitamins in it, and they're sugar free and vegan, gluten free. This specific one has vitamin C, vitamin E and thiamine in it, and it makes your water taste so nice. You're obviously going to drink more. I also bring them with me in my, they fit into your handbag too, so they're nice and portable, compactable little things. If you're on a night out and you're not drinking and you want to get a sparkling water, pop one of these in, because it tastes like a nice little cocktail that you're having. I wanted to talk a little bit about self-care. So I haven't been, this is a real like shallow thing to talk about. I haven't been getting my nails done because number one, it just takes too much time. Like, it's an hour and a half out of my day, and I just don't want to spend an hour and a half. Sitting in the chair to me is torture. Poor me getting my nails done. But you know what I mean? I'm bored. I want it to be quick and over, but I also want to have nice nails, because when I paint them, they just chip and they look shit, and it's the only way I look like sort of put together. I do my own hair and it always looks crap half the time. I did my roots yesterday and I literally bought the wrong shade of brunette, so my roots are a different colour now to the length of my hair. Perfect. So, and I can't justify the payment of getting my hair done until I have a house, and I'm not letting the middle-aged people get to me, you know, and they're like, stop buying lattes and avocado toast, because obviously that's not making a huge dent in my progress in terms of saving. But I can't justify spending the money of getting my hair done until I own a house. Do you know, that kind of way? I just can't do it to myself, even though I know it's like, it would be looking after, you know, general maintenance of my appearance or whatever, but I'm able to do it myself, sort of. Obviously not doing a great job at the moment. But anyway, in terms of self-care, because I am someone, if I don't look after myself, like, I will start wanting to, okay, well, does this need a trigger warning? I never know what people are sensitive to anymore. If I don't look after myself, and I'm going to go into detail of how I actually look after myself, but if I don't regularly maintain like a stable mental health, mental well-being, I would dip so hard, and I will start having really, really dangerous negative thoughts. If you've watched my videos for ages, you'll know that before I had my baby, I really struggled with suicidal thoughts, not thinking that I was worth the space, not thinking that I deserved. I literally, it was generally just because I had no purpose. I was like, I literally don't know why I'm even on the planet, because I'm useless. Whereas then when I had my baby, I was like, this is what my purpose is, blah blah blah. And then because my mental health deteriorated, and I couldn't find a good balance of looking after her and looking after myself, which I have found now. But then again, I was like up and down, had really negative thoughts. Like when I had postpartum depression, I thought about like constantly, nearly every day, like thinking that I wasn't a good enough mother, or like she'd be better off without me. You know, the usual. The things now that I do, like obviously drinking water is the obvious one, and it's really annoyed me when I would, you know, you'd watch these self-care videos and it's like, drink enough water. And I was like, no, Sharon, like if I drink a glass of water, I'm still going to want to kill myself, do you know? But for your overall health, your brain doesn't work at its normal capacity. Your organs start to break down if you're not drinking enough water. It does make an impact in like your general energy, and then that's going to have a domino effect on your on your thought processes and your self-esteem and your self-talk, and then you can get headaches and all this other shite. Like it is bad, but obviously drinking a glass of water isn't going to save you. That's not what I'm saying either. But things that generally saved me a lot, I think me having a baby 100% saved me from mental deterioration, because as a coping mechanism, I've talked about it in my last video, as a coping mechanism I would go out, because I think in Ireland as well, the general standard, or it's just common and normalized that to socialize you need to go out and drink with people. I was drinking a lot because that's how I would see my friends, you know, my whole friend group would be out drinking, and that's how I would have social interaction, which is good for you as well. Not to say that, you know, if you go out drinking you're a bad person, but it's like I was doing it constantly, and that was the only way that I was able to socialize. Cutting down my drinking and having a baby, because I literally cannot go out as much because I have a child, and then also I want to look after my health for her as well, so that I can live longer and be in good spirits to look after her as well. So cutting down on drinking and going out. Now I still go out, obviously have like a couple of two or three drinks and then go home, you know, I'm not going hell for leather out all night. Getting regular exercise, and I always thought that regular exercise was you have to go to a class or you have to go lift weights, and I just wouldn't be able to do that. You have to run on a treadmill. That to me is my fucking worst nightmare. Like going into a gym where there's other people like sweating and grunting around you, like I couldn't. Ugh, it tastes like summer. And I always thought, oh, I have a baby, so I can't do that stuff around her. Whereas like she's having a buzz when I'm doing my yoga. So I'll do like yoga, beginner Pilates, go on walks, and the odd run. I'm not like a huge runner. I kind of time it with my cycle. So if I'm ovulating, I'll go for a run if I'm in the mood. Do you know, I don't like to force myself to do a strenuous exercise if I don't want to, but if I'm feeling really bad, I know that it will make me feel better, so I force myself to do it. It's like intrinsic motivation, knowing that I'm not going to wallow. I don't have time to wallow. I need to be a good example for my daughter. You know, leave the house, spend time in nature. And then also small things like this, sitting in the sun, having a breather, stuff that doesn't work for me. Journaling I do find really cathartic, but I wouldn't say that helps me in terms of my mental stability. That is more just like my creative expression if I'm feeling bad, which is great because that's what I like to do. I like to write. And I also find it really difficult to meditate. I was never able to meditate, and I felt like I was really missing out because I wasn't able to practice mindfulness, which everyone really pushes for to have a healthy mental state. So I needed to find an alternative, and again, it should be suited to you, how you make yourself feel good. And it's not even if you're feeling bad, this will make you feel better. It's not that straightforward. It's more like maintenance. Even if you're feeling good, you still should be continuing to do this just to keep yourself going, you know? How I put myself in a meditative state is reading. It's really good mental exercise as well. Also, you're getting a good story. I find it really difficult now that I'm single. I don't like watching TV on my own. I find it really lonely. It is also another form of like instant gratification, you know, if you're like binge watching. Now sometimes that is good as well, just like not doing anything and binge watching a TV show. I have done that in the past while, obviously, if I'm feeling bad, but it never makes me feel good at the end of it. It is good to get out of your system, but I know it doesn't make me feel good. So reading is like my alternative to that. And also you get like delayed gratification when you finish a book. It also puts me in a meditative state, sort of, because I'm outside of my own head. I'm not thinking of my thoughts. Like if I'm walking around before I go to bed, even if I'm going for a run, my mind is constantly racing, and I just need to I just need to shut. Sorry, ran out of battery there. And then obviously going to therapy, but like not everyone can afford that or has access to or the time to be doing that. But if you can, obviously that's so helpful. If you get the right therapist, I find it's such a grueling process trying to find a therapist that suits you, because you want the sweet spot of holding you accountable and challenging you while also being empathetic and compassionate. Now, when I was doing therapy when I was a teenager, obviously I would just lie, but that's because my parents were forcing me to go rather than me actually just wanting to improve myself. But I found that I was just lying, and then it was just a complete waste of money, obviously. So I was just like, yeah, I'm literally perfect. I don't know why I'm even here. But if you could be honest with your therapist, that's also a really good tip, because sometimes you want to impress them. But if you're actually honest with them, honest with yourself, you make the right steps forward, because you can't learn from your mistakes if you're not even admitting them in the first place. The two pertinent feelings, I suppose, in my life are shame and anger, or not being able to healthily express anger, which I talk about all the time. But I find that going on runs does really help with my anger. But then the shame is really hard to escape. It's the worst feeling that you can feel. There's no use for it whatsoever. Like sometimes if you're stressed, that can be used to help. That could be a bit helpful because it can motivate you. Jealousy can sometimes be helpful because it can point you in the direction of what you want. Sadness can sometimes be helpful to make you appreciate all the good things in your life. But I find that shame, there's absolutely no fucking use for it. And it also just perpetuates the problem, makes you so much worse, and makes you use unhealthy coping mechanisms. I just don't think shame is a thing that we should be projecting onto other people, but also allowing ourselves to wallow in either. Am I talking shite? Anyway, I completely fall apart. If I'm not looking after myself, like, I completely fall apart. I'm too soft. I'm way too soft. It's like I have a breakdown if I'm not going on a walk. If I haven't gone on 3 walks in a week, I'm like, it's time to give up. One swimming duck says quack, quack, quack. 2 clever cubs find a sweet snack. 3 fox cubs practice making calls. Ow! 4 puppies chase 4 bouncing balls. 5 grazing cows wear shiny bells. 6 otters count for pink seashells. 7 chickens peck and scratch. 8 round eggs begin to hatch.
You okay back there, baby?
9 pandas. 1 shot
You kissing the monkey?
10 parrots. Boo! Want to count? I went to a gig last night with Saoirse. Oh my god, the bands were so good. I haven't been to a really, really good gig in a long time. Actually, since my poetry and music night. And I love putting on events because you can choose who performs, you know? But when you're going to a gig and you don't know anyone who's playing, it's also such a nice surprise if you find like new artists that you haven't heard of before. I don't have like the knack for playing instruments. Saoirse just was able to take it on really well. Obviously she put a lot of hard work and practice into it as well, but she was just able to, like, she can hear, you know, she can play stuff by ear and shit. Like, I just can't. I was just never able to, and I think it's such a beautiful gift to be able to play music and also make music. Like, to be able to make a song, that just blows my mind. I'm always in admiration of people anytime I go to a gig, like there with my mouth hanging open, like I can't believe this. So I had a great time, and I've been trying not to drink. Like last weekend I actually went out and didn't drink at all, but I use alcohol as a crutch so much because I always feel socially anxious if I'm going to be around like a new group of people, specifically if I don't know any of them. And that's only kind of started happening in the last, I think since I had my daughter, just because I feel I'm in my 20s obviously, but I have a baby, so the people that I'm around, or like if I go to a gig or whatever, usually it's not the same people as me, if that makes sense. And obviously if I go see my mum friends individually, that's not a problem. Like, I'm not going to be socially anxious because I know them and I know we're going to have stuff to talk about. But when I go to a new environment, I always just feel a bit awkward or a bit like I don't fit in. I think that's what the problem is. I have really noticed that I was relying on alcohol to like loosen me up, if you know what I mean. And I don't like the feeling of being drunk either, because I'm like not in control, and then I just feel horrible the next day. And Glasgow as well, when I started to feel drunk, I just started drinking sparkling water, which really helped, and then I wasn't hungover the next day. And also I've had fucking Dior-Lite for the first time in my whole life. Literally the first time in my whole life I had a Dior-Lite when I was in Glasgow. One of the girls gave us all like glasses of Dior-Lite before we went to sleep, and I had the best kip of my life. I woke up fucking fresh, like fresher actually than I do normally when I wake up in the morning. But last night, so I started out having a 0-0, because Guinness 0-0 to me tastes the same as Guinness, and maybe it's because I don't drink Guinness enough to know with the difference. But I drank it as well when I was pregnant, and if I'm driving or whatever, I always have a Guinness 0-0. I like the taste of Guinness, so it feels like I'm still joining in, and no one notices that you're not drinking a real alcoholic drink. So I'd have a Guinness 0-0, and then I had a real Guinness, and then I had a Red Bull, and then I had a vodka and 7-Up, and it was perfect because I felt myself getting a bit tired after the Guinness, and I was like, oh my god, this is a fucking nightmare. I literally was like, I'm gonna go home, I'm so boring, everyone hates me. So I had a Red Bull and then a vodka a 7-Up, and then I was like, I feel like I'm getting drunk now, so I'm gonna have a sparkling water. So I had a big pint of a sparkling water. It was so good, and it was perfect. I'm not hungover today. Had a great sleep despite the Red Bull. Now I can notice the hair's growing back now, but I did that dermaplaning thing literally just because I saw Lauren Whelan do it on her TikTok, and so I got these dermaplaning blades off online, like the eco-friendly ones, and it really like smoothed my face, and my makeup was going on nicer because I don't have a particularly fuzzy face anyway, but like it was getting off a lot of dead skin. But now I can notice like the fluff growing back. It's not growing back any thicker though, thank God, but I think I can just see it in the sunlight. So I don't know if I'm going to do it again. I don't know if I'm arsed because I literally don't even shave my body. I did shave my legs, actually, was it 2 weeks ago? I shaved my legs 2 weeks ago, and I hadn't shaved my legs probably in over a year. Because I'm just not a particularly hairy person. Like, I haven't shaved my armpits, I'd say 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I don't think I've shaved my armpits in 2 or 3 years, and as you can see, like there's barely anything there. So I just don't bother because like it's not bothering me in any way. But I was like, fuck it, will I shave my face? I went to a Sculpted by Amy event. I always had a bit, like any time in the last few years since I've started doing social media, I never really went to any event or anything just because I was like, I don't understand the point of this. Like, I'm just not going to bother going. Probably just because I was feeling anxious or awkward or like I wouldn't fit in again, like with this thing, just because I don't feel like I'm a beauty influencer. I don't think I'm, but I just talk shite on the internet, so I felt like I never fit in anywhere. And then in the last year I was like, no, these are my work colleagues. It's a particularly lonely field, to like a lonely job to be in because you're on your own all day, you're talking to a camera, not really people. You're not getting like face-to-face interactions, which is healthy for human development. So I was like, I should be meeting my people, and in fairness, like for meeting these people, you share accountants and you talk about business things and like give each other advice, which is really helpful because it's new and you can't really ask your parents about advice because they don't really know anything about it. Do you know that kind of way? And management, stuff like that. So it is actually really helpful to meet other people, and everyone is so nice. So I went to the Sculpted by Amy event, and another thing actually, since I had my daughter, there's a lot that I can't really go to because obviously maybe they're not baby or toddler friendly. So I got invited to a Sculpted by Amy event, which is my absolute favorite brand. Like, rock stars to me is entrepreneurs, authors and chefs. Like, I love a good female entrepreneur. I'm just obsessed. So Amy is like one of my idols, one of my role models, someone I really, really look up to. And every time I see her, I met her twice now, and every time I see her I'm literally like this like dumbfounded, not knowing what to say. So anyway, I texted them and I was like, is it okay if I bring my toddler? Because it was in Airfield Estate, which is like a little it's a little farm. I brought her there before when she was a baby. So I thought, oh yeah, surely that'll be grand. And they're like, of course, absolutely, that's no problem. And since we got there, everyone was so accommodating. The photographers were notified and like not to take any pictures of her. There was a high chair there. They were getting her specific foods if she wanted. They got her a little juice. Amy was coming up to her being like, she's so cute. Everyone was coming up to her being like, oh my God, she's adorable. She had a great time. And then she had these little, because it was the launch of their new product, the double cleanser face wash, which is such a handy idea actually because it's great. I hope they come out with the travel size, because then you don't have to pack as much. Oh my God, it's actually a genius idea. The quality of their products is so good. Oh yeah, so it was the launch of their double cleanser, and they had this like whole setup of like a bathroom, and then there was a pink headband and the wrist, so you don't get water like down your sleeves or in your hair. And B was like, she was like, hat. So she put them on, and then she's like, because she loves putting bobbins on her wrist, she was like, bobbin. So she had the two wrists on, and she was going around with the headband being like and picking up the boxes of things. Oh my God, she had the best time ever. And obviously everything was pink as well, so she was like, woo. It was really nice to like talk to everyone, and I just find all the girls there were boys obviously as well, but the girls that I usually I'm like seated with at events, I presume they do it by age group because that's what makes sense to me. But usually at events I'm sitting with like, Painted by Kira and Ava O'Donoghue. I'm like, it's so funny calling people by their handles. Do you know Painted by Kira? So they're the girls that I'd usually be sitting with, and I fucking love them. I think they're gas. Juliana Shield was there, who I love because I've spoken about her before, and I saw her last night actually as well. They're just all so funny and down to earth and really nice, so I always have a good time. I did have to leave early though because B was getting a bit hyper. But anyway, I'm going to bring myself on a date today because I got loads of work done this week. Basically the setup now with childcare. I don't know if I was talking about childcare in my last video. I think I was in like 2 videos ago. Jason's mom is now taking B for 1 day a week, which is such a great help, and she loves it there, and she has such a good setup, and oh my God, it's like the perfect gift ever. I love them so much. I'm able to get like literally 1 day I can get so much done. So I was able to get so much work done last week.
out and around.
Where's Mrs. Panda? Here she is.
Hi, Panda.
Hi, Panda.
Tractor.
Tractor.
More tractor.
No, but he looks familiar.
Yeah.